In the beginning, we see the Siberian prison, where a large number of German soldiers were captured after World War II and sent deep into Russia. Russia is vast, about 4,000 kilometers across, and these prisoners were taken to a prison located in the middle of snowy wilderness. This was a prison with no walls and no gates, yet no one was able to escape. Because traveling 4,000 kilometers in freezing snow without food was impossible, everyone knew escaping meant certain death. So the prisoners preferred to stay in the camp and work. First, the prisoners were transported in a train. The train traveled almost 9,000 kilometers. After the rail lines ended, the remaining 5,000 kilometers had to be walked on foot. During this long journey, the prisoners received very little food, and extreme cold killed many along the way. Those who survived reached the camp after 1.5 years. At the camp, the prisoners were forced to mine coal from the mountains. They spent 25 years in this harsh place. Nobody attempted escape because even if someone managed to flee, the snow would kill them and their bodies would be buried under the ice. Among these prisoners was a man named Kleeman, who wanted to escape because he wished to see his wife and daughter again, whom he left behind. After spending 25 years here, he no longer wanted to waste the rest of his life in this prison. One day, Kleeman made an escape plan and hid inside a coal trolley. After the trolley moved a little distance, he looked up at the stars in the sky and felt immense happiness. But soon the rail cart stopped. As he looked outside, a guard pointed a gun at him. Kleeman had been caught. As punishment, he was thrown into a deep pit for 2 days. When the warden came to take him out, the warden said that Kleeman's fellow prisoners were waiting for him. When he reached them, he saw them holding batons. Because of his escape attempt, the prisoners had been denied food for 2 days, so they beat him brutally. He was beaten so badly that he couldn't even stand, and they admitted him to the camp hospital. The doctor in the camp was also a German. He admired Kleeman's courage. When Kleeman recovered a little, he told the doctor about his plan to escape again. The doctor warned him that escaping was nearly impossible. If the cold didn't kill him, the poisonous coal dust eventually would. The doctor knew he himself didn't have much time to live, so he decided to help Kleeman. The doctor secretly gave Kleeman warm clothes, boots, and a knife. He also told him that Russian soldiers had food inside the train parts. The doctor had once planned to escape too, but he had been caught and tortured. Before dying, he made Kleeman promise that if he succeeded, he would tell the doctor's family that he had died, and they shouldn't wait for him. After 6 months, Kleeman tried escaping again. This time, instead of hiding in a trolley, he escaped on foot. When the warden discovered his escape, he went to question the doctor, but the doctor had already taken poison and died. The warden, knowing Kleeman was strong, continued the search operation for days, but found nothing. Everyone assumed Kleeman had died in the snow. Meanwhile, Kleeman kept walking through the snow for 9 days. His food ran out, and he was extremely weak. Exhausted, he fainted. When he woke up, he heard a strange sound and saw a snow deer near him. He used his knife and tried to kill it, but missed. The deer ran, but Kleeman chased it, fired again, and hit it. He cut open the warm body and warmed himself inside for survival. After regaining strength, he continued walking. Eventually, he found small bushes, which meant the forest was near. The warden had told his soldiers to search within a radius of 500 kilometers. Kleeman reached the forest, made a fire at night, and tried to rest. But a powerful snowstorm hit, causing trees to fall. One tree fell on Kleeman, and he was trapped. Luckily, 2 hunters in the forest found him and saved his life. The 3 of them continued walking for days until they reached green land beyond the snow. They found a river, made a wooden raft, and started moving downstream. But when the water speed increased, the raft flipped. One of the hunters couldn't swim and began drowning. Kleeman jumped in and saved him, but the other hunter ran away, taking their supplies. Kleeman and the remaining hunter, Sim, walked until they reached a small hut. Sim tried to convince Kleeman to hide the hunter's belongings because he feared the hunter had drowned. But soon both Kleeman and Sim reached the place where the raft had turned. Sim grew angry, thinking Kleeman had killed his friend for gold, and struck him. Kleeman fainted. When he woke up, wolves were chasing him. He climbed a tree, but one wolf grabbed him. Before it could kill him, gunshots rang. The hunters had arrived and killed the wolves, saving him again. They took Kleeman to their village, fed him, and treated him. For the first time in years, he was among humans again. One day, the village received news. A prisoner has escaped from a Russian camp. Whoever helps him will be hanged. The villagers gave Kleeman food and told him to leave quickly. A dog also joined him. After many days in the forest, Kleeman found a sawmill. The workers caught him at first, thinking he was a thief, but their leader listened to his story and decided to help him. They gave him clothes, food, and finally put him on a train heading toward Germany. Kleeman didn't know the sawmill workers had informed the warden. Russian soldiers waited at the next station. When the train stopped, Kleeman saw them and quickly jumped off and ran. The soldiers chased him. Suddenly, the warden appeared in front of him. Kleeman tried to escape, but his dog jumped at the warden to save him. A gunshot fired. The soldiers shot the dog. Heartbroken, Kleeman kept running. He climbed a bridge and jumped onto a passing train, escaping once again. A year later, Kleeman reached a town. Hungry, he saw bread sellers but had no money. 2 girls noticed him, and one girl gave him a piece of bread out of kindness. Kleeman ate it gratefully. A man in the area noticed all this. When Kleeman entered a moss arrest, the man followed him and said, "I have suffered like you. I won't hand you to the police. I will help you." He took Kleeman to his home, cleaned him up, gave him proper clothes, and arranged a new passport for him so he could cross the German border. Kleeman thanked him and left. At the border, he handed his passport to the Russian guard. Terrified, he thought he'd be caught, but the guard allowed him to cross. Kleeman was overjoyed until bright lights suddenly flashed in his eyes. When he looked, the warden was standing right in front of him. Kleeman's heart broke. After all this struggle, he had been caught again. But then something he never expected happened. The warden stepped aside and said, "Go, cross the border." The warden had developed respect for Kleeman's courage and didn't want to destroy his hard-earned freedom. Kleeman crossed into Germany. He reached home and finally saw his wife and children again. He followed them to church, and when his daughter saw him, she recognized him immediately and ran to him. In this way, Kleeman finally reunited with his family.